Welcome to the Unknown Options, the place where we explore the unknown options. My name is Will, and today we have with us Jackie. Jackie, it's great to have you here. We want to explore the good, the bad, and the ugly. For someone who might not know, what is a nutritionist?
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for having me.
Definitely, definitely. What is a nutritionist?
Okay. So that's a loaded question because there's no clear definition in terms of what a nutritionist is, because a nutritionist could be someone that they go to a school and they get a degree in nutrition and then they start practicing nutrition and nutrition counseling. Then you can get someone who reads an article online and is like, I love nutrition. I'm super passionate about it. And then they can call themselves a nutritionist. You can get someone that takes an online course and then calls themselves a nutritionist. So, nutritionist is not something that is accredited or really regulated. Where a dietitian, on the other hand, which I am a registered dietitian, is someone like a doctor of nutrition. I go through schooling, I went through accreditation. I took my standard board exam. I actually just had to renew my license. I have to do continuing education. So it is really known as like the expert of nutrition. But it's hard nowadays because everyone and their mother practices nutrition and talks about nutrition and health. So it's a hard term to actually regulate. So when you're looking for someone who is, I would say, gold standard, that is a registered dietitian. But a lot of us registered dietitians know that we're also competing against the word nutrition. So that's why a lot of us use registered dietitian nutritionist so people understand who we are.
Perfect. It's like great marketing, or marketing you have to use marketing tactics. How did you get? What was your journey like in becoming a registered dietitian?
Yeah. So I went through my own personal 65-pound weight loss journey back in 2010. I was a freshman in college when I was diagnosed with prediabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Essentially, my doctor was like, "How many drinks are you having a day?" And I was like, "I'm in college, but I'm not drinking that much." So I had so much fat around my liver to the point where my liver enzymes were extremely skyrocketed and I was on the verge of having diabetes. So that really put me into this like, oh my God, I have to do something about my health. So I started working with a coach who helped me. And over the course of a year and a half, I lost 65 pounds. And that's when I decided not to become a doctor. My poor dad sent me to Emory University to be a doctor. And then my senior year, I was like, yeah, peace out, not doing that. And I decided to go into nutrition. So I ended up coming back home to San Diego and I kind of had to start all over. So I went to
Mm,
SDSU here for my master's in nutritional science. While I did the undergrad stuff, I did my residency, which is our dietetic internship here at the VA here in San Diego. It has been a roller coaster trying to figure it out, but I
yeah.
started out as a bariatric dietitian. I passed my exam, all of that stuff, and now I own my own business and I do everything online and I help women sustainably lose weight while eating the foods they love.
Nice. I love that. That's an amazing journey, and we'll go a little deeper into it later. But I really want to talk about, since you're an entrepreneur and you have the license, the degrees, and you said that you were on the track to become a doctor, and you pivoted to becoming a dietitian. You said your father wasn't that pleased. How was that relationship, or how has like your new path impacted that relationship? Like, has he accepted it, or?
Yeah, it's so funny. So my dad is a doctor. So of course, when I decided to become a doctor, he was very excited that I was going to take over the practice and, had all these big plans. So when I went to Emory and I was on the track to becoming a doctor, I didn't have that passion anymore. So with my parents who grew up in South Africa, who emigrated here to America, things in South Africa are very like, this is the way and this is how you do it. So I'm like the black sheep American that's like, I'm going to try all these things. So I studied abroad. That was not a fun conversation when I was like, I'm going to go live in Italy for a few months. Like, that was like was not normal to them. So then after being in school for 3 years to becoming a doctor, and let alone at a very expensive school, private tuition, paying a lot of money. And, I'm fortunate that my parents put me through college. And when I decided, I was like, you know what, this is just, I don't want to become a doctor. I don't want to take over the practice. I want to study nutrition. I want to do this. And he was like, whoa, hold on. No, 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 no. This is not, I will say it was definitely some tears were shed,
Oh
some
man.
words were exchanged, reality TV style stuff happened. I will say though, now if you ask my dad, I mean, he's my cheerleader, my number one cheerleader. He is my biggest
Nice.
fan, and he sees, I still stayed within the science realm, but
Yeah.
how powerful, he knows how powerful nutrition is, and he sees how powerful my story, my struggles help so many women. So he's very, very proud of me. And I think that it was just hard for him to see that, or it also even just conceptualize like I can make a career and a living out of this, when he's like, no, doctor or lawyer. Like that's why in the Jewish
Mm,
community, where I'm Jewish, and so it's like you're a doctor or lawyer, like that's what the stereotype is. So it's very
yeah.
normal for me to be like, I'm not going to do either of those things. So now he's happy, but in that moment it was definitely a very like interesting time.
I like that. That's interesting. One of my past guests, he was a civil engineer, and he's from Nigeria, second generation, and like his parents had the same thing. They were doctor, lawyer, engineer, or go back home. That was that was,
Like you either make money like those people or nothing else. So I was like, well, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom that, I'm a mom and I stay at home, I work from home, but like I have such a passion and I want to work, and like I want the ability to change lives. So the fact that I can do that all is, I'm very fortunate to do that.
definitely. I love it. I love it. Is college required to be a licensed dietitian, or like can someone like kind of like just like take exams or?
Yeah, so you have to go through a pretty strict, like rigorous step-by-step process. So you have to get your undergrad degree or master's degree in something related to nutritional science, human metabolism, something that's accredited by our accreditation agency. And then after that, you have to have 1,200 hours of supervised practice. So that's clinical, inpatient, outpatient. So that's what I did at the VA hospital for a year. Essentially, you're just an intern. And
Got you.
a lot of, the best year of my life for the hardest life. And then you have to pass an exam. And then every few years, you have to do continuing education and submit them to be like recertified, which I literally just submitted mine. So
Nice.
you can't get away. See, a nutritionist, doesn't matter what degree you have, but you absolutely do need, because there's specific classes that you need to take in order to even be considered for an internship.
I love it. And I think what you said earlier kind of feeds into my next question. Um, Obviously, like the nutrition, like you said earlier, nutritionist, anyone can kind of claim that title. Do you see like the field of licensed dietitians growing in the future since they're competing against the term of nutritionist, or do you think it's going to like maybe fall a little bit because there's so many like self-proclaimed nutrition people on the internet?
That's a really good question. I'm sure if you're just even just watching some of the news with Ozempic and these weight loss drugs, like, I mean, there's dermatologists that are literally prescribing weight loss drugs. So
Mm,
am I scared of what people are doing in terms of support and coaching and nutrition, and trainers making meal plans, when again, that is totally against all regulation. So I'm scared, yeah, but I also know that I'm really good at what I do, and I, have an amazing following, and I'm building a community, and I'm showing people to look at the source of information and really like, especially with just all the, can you curse on here?
yeah,
Oh,
of course.
okay. Shit, that's out there. I just want to make sure. because I get so many messages from my followers being like, is this true? Is this true? And I'm like, dude, like this person like has no idea what they're talking about. Look at their, background and their degrees. And people just see like monk fruit's going to cause you a heart attack. And they read, the headline or like egg
Yeah.
going to kill you or coconut oil is going to save you. And so
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do as someone who really believes in research and science-based, evidence-based data, I'm trying to teach people to look for that and understand that. But I also don't expect the layperson to be able to read a research article and understand what a double blind study with, a N of blah, blah, blah. Like I went through that hard work. So I want to be able
Yeah.
to information to give it to them. So I I can be jealous, but like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
I can be scared, but how's that going to help me? So
Yeah.
my mindset is head down, keep doing what I need to do, focus on the things that are going to support the people that need my help. And if other people are going to do shit, like that's their problem. If they get into trouble, their problem. But I truly believe that things are meant to be, they're going to happen. We are definitely competing against a lot of chiropractors, naturopath doctors, people that, preach wellness and acupuncturists. But again, having that mindset of, I'm competing against these people and I believe there's enough to go around for everybody. So they can do whatever they want. I'm going to stay within my lane. I'm not
Perfect.
going to prescribe medications because I can't. I'm not
Yeah.
going to write a fitness plan because I'm not a trainer. I will refer out to that. So I believe in karma and I'm going to stick in my own lane. And if there's something that I can't do, I'm going to bring in my colleagues to support and help me. And then those people who don't do that or don't stay in their lane, something's probably going to happen that they're not going to be happy with at some point.
Definitely. I love it. It's like like sifting through all of the FUD and then still having like a mind of abundance because there's still a lot of people that you can help change. Um, I really want to dig back into your weight loss journey. I know you got like that diagnosis from the doctor and then that really turned your life around. So could you, if you can, could you dive deep into like really that diagnosis? Because honestly, I've had some liver issues, and they said that I may have a non-alcoholic fatty liver too. Now, I haven't been diagnosed with it yet, but they told me that, so I kind of have a personal relation with that. But could you tell people a little bit about your diagnosis, and then why it was important, and then how you lost that weight? Because weight loss, like you said, is everywhere. It's always on the news, and Ozempic is definitely really big, and it's me, I'm not a medication person, so I don't like take pills really for even for headaches. So it's like I would never take that for weight loss, but it's like people are definitely they see it on the news, they see it really everywhere. They're taking it. So I would love to hear that from you.
Oh
Those
yeah.
questions.
Well, so I struggled with my weight my entire life. My mom took me to Weight Watchers when I was 12 years old. So it
Mm,
started way back when. So again, my parents coming from South Africa and coming to America is like, oh my God, all this fast food. So wow, I don't need to cook. So I grew up on a lot of fast food, which, in hindsight wasn't the healthiest thing for me. So
yeah.
uh, I grew up as cute, chubby little Jackie. And then as the years went on, I just kept getting chubbier and chubbier. And the more weight I gained, the more my family tried to say, hey, you need to lose weight, or took me to Weight Watchers or put me on a diet. And I was really young. And what happens when you tell a kid don't do something? They're going to do it,
Yeah.
right? So that's when I started having a lot of struggles with eating because, again, I was being told I was too fat and I shouldn't eat this and all of the stuff. So, of course, I said, well, F you, screw it. So I started really using food to cope. And it was complicated because, then I was being fed all this food. Then all of a sudden it's like, stop eating all this food. You can't have this. And, it really didn't lead to a healthy relationship with food in my body because I was so
Hmm.
young and my parents and family were trying to tell me I needed to change. And I just also was young and ignorant. And no matter what, my doctor called me obese when I was 16. And, what's that going to do to a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
But when I was 19 and in college and I felt like I had a little bit of life, experience, that disease, that fear of disease is really what was like, it wasn't the vanity metrics anymore, right? It wasn't
Mm,
my grandpa was having complications from diabetes. My aunt had diabetes and had to have bariatric surgery, hence why I became a bariatric dietitian. So I saw these things in my family and I just like kind of saw in front of me like, oh my God, that's where I am going if I don't do something about it. So that diagnosis was the first time that I wanted to do it for myself. Before, my parents wanted me to lose weight. My aunt wanted me to lose weight. People told me and it didn't come from me. It wasn't
mm,
until it came from me is when I was like, oh shit, like I want to be healthy. Like I want to live a long life. Like you, I don't want to take medicine every day. So
yeah.
that's when I think, again, weight loss is 90% mindset. So that's when
Mm,
my mindset shifted. I said, I need to get help. I need to get a coach. So instead of going to a doctor that was going to put me in a pill or put me on a diet, I went to someone who finally looked at me in the eye and said, how can I help you? What do you want to
mm,
accomplish? And it was just such a breath of fresh air and so eye-opening. So I worked with her for about a year and a half where I lost the weight, and then I did struggle with an eating disorder and disordered eating for many years after, because as a type A perfectionist, once you start doing something, you get really good at it, you don't know how to stop. So then I struggled
mm,
with the maintenance. So I worked with her for about 5 years and I did a lot of healing, and that's why I became the mindful nutritionist. And that's why I teach mindful eating, because it really saved my life. It taught me how to view food as fuel and really get me to feeling at my goal, or get me to, looking in a way that I feel comfortable and confident. So mindful eating is what I practice and specialize in. And it really is meant for all ages, all sizes, anywhere in the world. There's no calories, there's no points. You can do it when you're 20, when you're 80. Like it's so beautiful. So it really helped me lose weight and also saved my life from going, I swung the pendulum like really one
yeah.
end to the other. So I always say, and you can't teach that, which is like hard. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but like that's where you have to find a coach who gets it. And like you can't, yeah, you don't
Mm,
teach that in school, right? Like I have literally
mm,
lived it for many, many years. So I've been on both ends. I've been overweight. I've been underweight. I've been a diagnosis that was, unhealthy, and also a diagnosis that was unhealthy, but in a different way. So I've experienced it. And I always say that I want to turn my setbacks into someone else's successes. So
mm,
have that empathy. And I really understand. And I don't want someone to make the same mistakes that I did, or I don't want them to take just as long as I did. So that's why I've built my program. And I think it's so important when you're a professional, not only passion, and you can't always have this, but like that deeper connection, like that experience. So
definitely.
it's been a wild journey for sure.
Definitely. I love it. I love the passion. And I know I've been harping on this, but I gotta go back to it because people love conflict. Is there a conflict in, I guess, the scientific community between dietitians and doctors? 'Cause I know you kind of said like doctors, they'll like prescribe you medication or put you on a diet, whilst dietitians will ask you like, how can I help you? So is there like an internal conflict in between the professions?
Yeah, you'll probably get a different answer from every person that you ask, but I'll tell
Yeah.
you again, there's always three sides to the story, right? There's his, there's
Yeah.
her, there's the middle, there's the truth.
Yeah.
So I'll do my best to tell you the truth. Um, Doctors are usually known for treating the symptoms and with medication. Dietitians, and now more recently functional dietitians, are coming out where they treat the root cause, not the symptoms.
Mm,
So for example, let's say that you are experiencing headaches. We were talking about headaches, right? What's a doctor
yeah.
going to do? A doctor's going to say, here's your Advil, here's your Aleve, here's your Tylenol, take it X amount a day, blah 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 blah, and you'll be fine. Where I, a dietitian, would be like, okay, why are you having these headaches? What is going on in your life that's potentially causing these headaches? What are you eating? What are you drinking? How is your sleep? And that's where we come in to not treat your symptoms and also to not brush them under the rug and put a band-aid over it, right? I'm
Yeah.
coming in to say, what is the root cause? Like, literally think of a tree. Like, the doctor's treating all of these little branches. I am going down to the roots to say, how can we get all of these flowers to come up and these leaves to be healthy again, instead of just cutting the branch here and cutting the branch here and cutting the branch here? Start from the root of the problem. And that's why I do this with weight loss, because we were just talking about like Ozempic. You're going to get a lot of different opinions about that too. But to me, having been in the bariatric space, having worked with hundreds of people who have taken weight loss drugs and fen-phen and all of these other GLP-1 agonists and semaglutides, if you don't couple the tool, which is those things,
Hmm.
with lifestyle changes, you'll never see long-term results. You will see
Mm.
initial, immediate results, absolutely, but you will not forever, I don't want to say be fixed, but forever find the way to live that healthy, balanced lifestyle without a crutch. So that's why I
Mm.
left the bariatric space, because I loved my surgeon. I think he's amazing. He's world renowned. He's an incredible person that helps so many people. But the process is so effed up. Like, people
Mm.
come to me for me to sign a note to say this person can have surgery. And I'm like, but is this person literally mentally ready to make a massive, when you have bariatric surgery, whether it's the bypass sleeve, it is a massive, massive thing that you're doing. So you need to be able to be equipped mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, taking supplements the rest of your life, being able to learn how to exercise and eat the balanced meals. Because, eating burgers and french fries 5 times a day, sure, you might lose
Yeah.
weight at the beginning, but that's why I had a patient who had bariatric surgery bypassed 3 times. So when he came back
What?
the third time, I literally said to this was actually my turning point. I said, how are we even letting him even be an option for surgery? It was third time the
Yeah.
charm. It's finally going to work. It made me so upset. And I was required to meet with this person for X amount of minutes and sign off on it. And I said, screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not enabling people, and I'm not supporting this cause. If someone wants to change their life, it doesn't happen in one surgery. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to be able to make the lifestyle changes. You need to have the education. You need to have the tools. You need the accountability, and it needs to come from them. So
Mm.
I think that there are absolutely some doctors that believe and understand that. And I love those doctors, because then they end up referring patients to me and we work in a multidisciplinary setting. We collaborate. And then I have other
Mm.
doctors that are like, just eat 800 calories, or, just go keto, or you should like, I remember hearing the physician, because the walls were so thin, be like, you should try intermittent fasting. I'm like, oh my God. Like, here your dietitian is next door, and you have a perfectly trained, qualified expert to help this person, and you're telling them to just try, intermittent fasting. And I just like it's frustrating. So it really depends. The general census is that doctors treat symptoms, and usually with band-aids, where
Mm.
you will come to someone like maybe a naturopath or a dietitian, someone who really appreciates like, what is the root cause and how do we treat that so the symptoms go away and never come back.
Perfect. I love that answer. Very thorough, and I loved it. I love it. So now we're gonna head to the not so speed round. It's gonna be 5 questions, and then after the not so speed round, I want you to really just talk about your business and how you can help maybe some of our listeners, and we can refer them to you. The first question is, what would society look like without dietitians?
Very unhealthy. I
Mm. Yeah.
mean, a lot of people, when they think of dietitians, they probably think of like the lunch lady in the hospital when they're like, my chicken's cold, or like, they think of we're just like the food lady. but dietitians are everywhere, every supermarket. Think about your sports teams. Do you think LeBron James puts together his meals? He's got a chef, he's got a dietitian that's meticulously putting things together. And even society, obviously, if you don't have the means to pay for that, uh, education, health, and nutrition. How many times do you eat a day?
I'm bulking right now, so I eat a lot. So I probably eat like four, like I guess big meals, and I eat like probably three snacks. I eat a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you.
See, regardless if you're bulking or not, I eat 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks. Depends on
Sure.
what's going on with me. That's
Yeah,
a lot of times thinking about food. I
it is.
literally help people make the best choices for their body, and you eat multiple times a day. If you don't have someone to help you make those choices, what's your health going to look like?
Very true. Very true. I know there was one dude off topic. He said he like ate the same thing every day and wore the same clothes every day, so he didn't have to like consciously make decisions about like what he would eat or what he would wear because you think so much on those little decisions.
Right? Yeah. And with diet culture now, we're just constantly being bombarded with just this awful messaging. So can you imagine like what people are constantly it's going through the do I take Ozempic? Do I not? Do I go keto? Do I not? Intermittent fasting? Do I not? This nutritionist, that nutritionist, this dietitian, this doctor. Like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. And there's so much misinformation, and you don't know who's getting paid to promote it or who is really being like truthful about the products, and it's just a lot. It's definitely a lot.
I teach people look at the source because
True.
and it's so painful when you see some of these people talking about these things, especially when they have big followings and people just
Definitely,
mark their words. And I'm like,
they do.
are you kidding me? This person has no idea what they're talking about. So then here I am to clean up the mess, and then I get shit on when I'm like, oh my God, she's promoting a packaged food. I was like, oh my God, it's not gonna kill you. It's
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That's why I think like social media is like independent journalism. So we have access to like millions or hundreds of thousands of independent journalists, and you can really choose who you want to listen to. And I mean, like you said, you'll get a lot of people that run from one channel to your channel, and you have to help them.
yeah, absolutely.
Second question. Are you underpaid or overpaid as a dietitian? I know you're an entrepreneur too, so that might influence your answer.
Oh, that's a really good question. Dietitians are severely underpaid. I'm not because I am an entrepreneur and I charge what I'm worth.
Yeah,
But yeah, dietitians, it also depends which state, but if you are a dietitian here in California, you are lucky if you make $40 an hour, 60 grand a year.
goodness.
And if yeah, and to go through all the schooling and shit that we go through and literally like we are also saving lives. Like when there are people on ventilators, how do you think that they're fed? Who do you think
Mm,
calculates their nutrition needs and tells the pharmacist what they need? That was me for many,
mm,
many years. So we do really hard things and we are the bottom. We people treat us, they don't read our note. And I'm not saying everyone, but I definitely when I was working in the hospital setting, I felt very undervalued. My internship, I was paid $7 an hour. I was literally scut. Like it was awful.
what?
Yeah, it is, but yeah, it's really, really sad. I remember when I put on my application that I wanted like 40 or 45 an hour and I got 29. I started at 27. And then after my 3-month probation period, he said that I would go up. He bumped me up to $29 an hour for a year and a half. And then after that, I was like, peace out. I'm anymore. So yeah, it's really, really sad because dietitians are amazing and so smart and so helpful. And we are severely underpaid.
Wow, but like you said, so you're the 20th guest I've had on here, and the only people that have said like they're compensated fairly have been people working in sales or entrepreneurship. So there's like the common theme.
Yep. To do what I do it for myself. I was like, screw it. Why am I going to have someone pay me? Even when I was working at Rady's Children's Hospital, again, I have a master's degree. I'm a registered dietitian. I have plenty of experience, and I was getting $27 an hour. And I was just like, this is
Goodness.
it. And there are dietitians who are literally saving these pediatric patients, these kids that need feeding tubes. And I'm just like, how are you paying them $27 an hour? It just, yeah, it makes, and then, as an entrepreneur myself, which we can get into, but like, I have contractors who are like, yeah, I'm 150 an hour. I'm like, F that. Like, should be making, like, it's, yeah, it pains me.
Yeah, well, entrepreneurship. The third question is name one person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life and why.
Oh, that's like, I have so many. Do you want like when I started as an entrepreneur, as a baby entrepreneur? Do you want it as I'm scaling? Like, which part of my life do you want?
I say I say the journey is the most important. So I say like probably when you were starting, 'cause I think that's the most influential when you're starting because they really hold you down.
Yeah. So two people are hugely influential. First of all is my business coach, my very first business coach who started me. Like, I would not be here today if it weren't for her. Second is Amy Porterfield. I don't
Okay.
know if you know Amy Porterfield, but she is originally from Carlsbad. She's big in marketing and just very, very famous. And I remember one of my colleagues who I met online, who's also a dietitian, told me when I was like trying, like, what is marketing? And like, what is all this stuff? And she's like, you need to listen to Amy Porterfield. So I started listening to her podcast, and my life has forever been changed. I've taken her course. I'm a part of her membership community, and my program is what it is today because of Amy Porterfield. So yeah.
I love that because a lot of entrepreneurs like they're really bad at sales and marketing, but they think they know how to do it because it's like oh it's sales and marketing,
Oh
but
no.
you actually and like there's like a trend now of like hating courses, but like I've made a lot of money from knowledge that I've gained from a course. So like so I love that you actually like you found a person, you trusted her, then you bought her course, and then like it took you to a specific point. I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah, no, I literally, and now my current business coach, my scaling phase, I mean, she's just like my rock. So I am a huge believer in coaching, which is why I'm a coach now. So I'm not just a dietitian in an office that you see for 30 minutes. Like, I am literally your coach, your guide. You're with me for I work with people for 2+ years. Like, there's a
Mhm.
lot that goes into weight loss and healing your relationship with food and your body. So that's why I am continuing on with my own coaching, because it wasn't just like, here's how you start a business. There is so much more in mindset stuff. So that's why I have a business coach. I'm still a part of Amy Porterfield's community and her Momentum membership. I've made so many friends that way. I am now following other entrepreneurs because of it. And I'm just learning so much.
Definitely. I love it. And we can honestly, the other two questions you already answered. So we can hop right into, I guess, you just describing your business, what you do. And then honestly, hop into like the coaching aspect too, because coaching is a little bit frowned upon nowadays too. And like, I know I've had plenty of coaches for real estate, for like sales, marketing too myself. So expound upon like what you coach, then like really, I guess, your journey to become the coach too.
Yeah. So you want to know my business and my coaching
Yeah.
business?
Oh well, I guess your business, your dietitian business first. Then I guess go into your coaching business too. Because are they two separate businesses?
No, it's just one business.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, just that one. I'm sorry.
So when COVID hit, I was still working as a bariatric dietitian, and I always knew I wanted to start my own private practice. And I was thinking brick and mortar, and then COVID, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna, pay all this money when everyone's staying at home. And that's when I decided, you know what, everything's going virtual. This is like, I can do this. Like, I can do,
Yeah,
like, I don't need to be in person. I'm not doing anything where I can't do it over Zoom. So that's when I started working with my business coach. I started listening to Amy Porterfield, and then I started my coaching business, which is really guiding men and women to sustainably lose weight while eating the foods they love. And I learned as a coach the different things that I needed to do, and that it doesn't take, 1 or 2 sessions, it takes months and things like that. So my business has crazily evolved from September 16th, 2020 is when I'm starting my business, and it happened. And then in November, for 2 months, I was not on social media. I just was word of mouth. And then November 16th, 2020 is when I took my Instagram handle and I changed it to the Mindful Nutritionist, which is what I am today. And I've grown to 42,000 followers, and I just have such an incredible community. TikTok, I'm like 30. So I used to be very into TikTok. Now I'm another situation, but Pinterest and all of the things. And now I have my signature program. I was doing a lot of one-on-one, and I was getting very burned out because I was literally I went from a job where I had to see 16 patients a day. And I essentially made another job where my calendar, there was no white space. I was just like client, 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 client. And that's not why I built my business, right? Like I was
Yeah.
working all the time, because after client work, then I had to do all the business things. So that's when I changed my business model to more group coaching. And that group coaching evolved into my signature program right now, which is a hybrid course, a hybrid program. So I have my course, which I created, and then I've added on layers of that one-on-one coaching. So not only do they get my framework and a beautiful, all the modules, the handouts, all that stuff, they get weekly coaching with me. They get check-ins one-on-one with me. They get resources, new guides every month. I'm constantly evolving, and I have 3 different levels depending on the level of support a client needs. So I have level 1, 2, 3, and 1 is entry, 2 is private messaging with me, and 3 is my top tier where I have private. So I now finally have white space. And for example, I did 35 check-ins on Wednesday. It took me 3 hours, but in 3 hours, I helped 35 women versus being on Zoom with 3 people for 3 hours. So I have scaled the business in a way where my clients are getting the results, and I'm finding that white space. And I do that once a week, and I can work on the other things in my business. I can create the new modules and the new handouts, and I can just be a better coach. I can bring in more people into my program and not cap myself. So I'm actually in the process of hiring my first co-coach, which is really,
Nice.
really exciting. Yeah, it's very scary, but I'm super excited. I found my person. I'm going to tell her next week. Um, but yeah, I'm just excited to expand. So it's evolved from this little like one-on-one. Anyone who wanted to work with me, I would take them. And now it's like you go through an application. If you are a right fit, I'll have a conversation with you and then offer you an invitation to join if I feel like you're the best fit. So I really guard my community like a mama bear. Like I don't want anyone in there who is not a good fit. First of all, I want what's best for that person. So if I'm not the right coach for them, I will help them find the right coach. But that's actually happened before. And that person ended up coming back to me because they were like, I can't believe you just spent time like sending me different people and talking to different people. I truly care about other people's success. And if I'm not that person for them, they deserve to find that person or the program that works best for them. So it's really cool to see the evolution over 2.5 years.
Definitely. I love it. We're right under 40. I don't want to take up too much any more of your time, but this was a great conversation dialogue. I'll put it in the thumbnail and the video too, but could you give us like your social media handles, maybe your website and everything like that?
Yeah, so you can find me on all platforms, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok, the.mindful.nutritionist. I use nutritionist because most people know what a nutritionist is, but I'm a dietitian. I'm a weight loss dietitian. My website is eatright4 with the number 4 life.com. I'm excited that I'm probably going to be going through some like trademarking for my course, or my program, the Mindful Weight Loss Academy. I have a mini course for those that just want to get started called Mindful Eating 101. I have a free course. I have free guides. I have all the things. So if you find me on Instagram, just look at my link tree and then you'll find everything in my link in bio. But yeah, if there's anyone who is a female who has struggled with their weight, who has struggled with their relationship with food and their body, and does not want to take a pill and does not want a quick fix and finally wants to get to the root of the problem, I'm your girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. We loved having you on today. I know I gained a lot of knowledge through this episode. I know all our viewers will, and hopefully some people come to you directly to take your course and learn more from you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Everyone comment, like, and subscribe, and have a nice day.